Hey guys, it is Tuesday, I think the 29th of March. Sorry, don't mind the mess, we're still in construction over there. Anyway, let's see here. At the house to myself, Julie's gone to town shopping. We're doing some laundry, getting unpacked and cleaned up and everything from our trip to Sudbury. I told you guys probably over a month ago now that I was going to make a video and talk about the abscess and the drain tube and the bag, the drain bag. And to be honest, I've been procrastinating. It's still something that's very fresh in my mind. It's still something that I'll talk about it, but I don't. It obviously bothers me, and probably will for a while. It's one of the hardest things you can go through, for a couple of reasons. One obviously is the pain of having the drain bag, because basically they put you in like an X-ray room or some sort of imaging room, and they say they're giving you a sedation, but you're not sedated. You're fully aware, and I don't know if it's just me or what, but I feel everything. Basically, they're injecting a tube. I guess it's a needle to get it in there to begin with, about the size of a pencil, a number 2 pencil or whatever, what you draw with or you write with. And when that goes through your muscle tissue, it is one of the most excruciating things you can have happen. There's a lot of nerves in the tissue, in the muscle there. There's a lot of there's obviously muscle, there's some fat, and you hear it crunching through, you feel it going in, and it's very, very painful. No matter how much they give you of whatever they give you down there, it's not enough. And I've had flashbacks of and some post-traumatic stress from that, from previous drain tubes, and it was something that I absolutely did not want to repeat again. And for months leading up to the corn roast and up to getting this abscess taken care of, I knew deep down inside that it was an abscess. I had a really good feeling that they were going to want to drain it, and they were going to do another drain bag and another tube, and that was the last thing I wanted to do. So I put it off for months and months. Didn't want to talk about it. Didn't want to go get looked at. Didn't want to go to Toronto. Because quite frankly, after all my surgeries and other procedures there, I tried to avoid Toronto as much as possible because it never really gave me any good feelings. It was a very tough time in my life that I never really wanted to relive. So going to Canada's Wonderland or going to Niagara Falls or anything like that, I didn't want to do it for a long time because I didn't want to be put back in that place and think about what had happened before. So this summer, or the summer that just passed, I should say, after the corn roast, we were planning on going to Wonderland or go to Niagara Falls, bring the kids to Marineland and all that stuff. And, I was going reluctantly because I wanted to be a good dad and bring my kids there and, you know, do it for Julie and whatnot. But it wasn't something I really wanted to do. And, come corn roast time, my symptoms were getting worse and I wasn't feeling well at all. I was in a lot of pain and I knew that I was going to have to go back to the hospital and at Mount Sinai and, get them to take a look at this problem. So, anyway, that's one reason why there's a couple reasons there why it was so tough. Is for one, the pain, and two was getting over my fear of going back there and dealing with what I knew was going to be coming next. And we went in, and Julie Julie came with me in the hospital, and my parents came down and whatnot, and um, it wasn't. It obviously wasn't a pleasant experience for me. To be 100% honest, I felt like I was letting everybody down. Um, I had those surgeries in the past, and I told myself that I put through my family through hell when I had those surgeries, and the whole idea of having the colostomy bag reversal was so that I wouldn't need an ostomy anymore. I wouldn't need a bag. There wouldn't be financial um, burdens to buy the supplies. At the time, and still up until now, I'm working on things. But Julie did a lot of the the maintenance and the upkeep for the ostomy for me, and that was something I didn't want her to have to do anymore. So having to go in and have more procedures done and more health problems going on and things like that, I felt like I had failed, because my hope was to take care of myself and be healthy and not have Julie take care of me anymore, and not have to stress out my parents and not everyone else who may or may not have been who may have been worried about my well-being. So that was something that really bothered me, and I had a hard time to deal with. And when we went into the hospital and had to get the imaging done, and the doctor said, um, you are definitely going to need to have a drain put in, and that went in and everything. It's a long road. You've got, like I said, that tube going through your muscle tissue, and every time you move, every time you sit, anytime you lay down, um, it's painful. So, they give you pain medication for that. Um, I was on Percocets for months, um, up to and leading, and then after surgery, and just it's something you never want to go through, and hopefully never have to do it again if you do. It's it's a very difficult time for everybody, and a lot of stress is involved, and a lot of pain, and a lot of worry, and um, it's one of those things that stays with you for a very long time. So um, I guess that's basically it. I because I was so frustrated with myself, um, that even with the drain bag and the pain medications and stuff, I pushed myself harder than I'd ever pushed myself to stay as active as I could, do try to limit the amount of stuff that Julie had to do for me as far as wound care, and just tried to live my life as normally as possible with the drain tube in. And in order to do that, we did some sightseeing in Toronto. We went to Ribfest in Sudbury. We went to weddings. We did what we could. With myself being heavily medicated, and just so for two reasons. For one, to try to live as normally as possible, and two, to not allow my body to get so weak and emaciated from the lack of exercise and everything, that coming back after surgery and whatnot would be so hard. So that was why we did a lot of the things we did while I had the drain bag in, because if I walked all day, as painful as it was, if I walked all day, well, that was exercise that my muscles were getting that they wouldn't have got if I would have just slept, laid on the couch and felt sorry for myself all day. So that was very important to me, and as much as I could, even leading up to surgery, my very first surgery in the fall, my doctor's office had told me, don't sit around and get fat and eat a bunch of food. Exercise a little bit, do what you can so that you're strong for the surgery. So, for a week or two leading up to that surgery, the first surgery I had in December, October, I started doing a little bit of shadow boxing outside, some pull-ups and push-ups, and my dad even helped me put up a punching bag in the garage and at his place, and I was using the punching bag there a little bit. I get tired really easily because obviously I was, very sick and I had an infection, but to me, I was doing something to prepare myself for what was coming. And like I've said before in other videos, I train and I work out to prepare myself for whatever fight is coming up next, whether it be stress from work, house problems with renovations, health issues, surgeries, whatever it is that's going to come up. I work out to prepare my body and my mind to deal with those things. So that's what we did. That's what I've been dealing with, and that's why I do what I do. Anyways, thanks for talking or listening in, and we'll talk to you later. Just one other thing. I was thinking back here, and I guess there's not much else to talk about. Basically, having the drain bag is not as painful as having bowel surgery, but it is pretty close. The worst pain in the world for me anyways is waking up from surgery and not being medicated. So you wake up feeling everything. Your abdomen feels like it's on fire, and you're just in so much pain it cuts your breath. The drain tube is very painful, very uncomfortable for days after you get it put in. No matter how many drugs they give you, how much they give you, it's never enough. You feel so uncomfortable. You can't sit, you can't stand yourself. You're constantly moving around trying to get adjusted and comfortable, and it just doesn't happen. And it's just one of those things where you just want to end your life. In a sense, like, you get to the point where it just, you can't stand yourself. You don't even want to, you don't want to move, but you have to move because it's uncomfortable, and so you're constantly moving around, and it is painful, and you know, no matter how much medication they give you, be it uh, morphine or hydromorphone or Percocet or whatever, it just doesn't cover it. So again, it's something you never want to repeat, and you hope you never have to deal with. But um, if you do, and you manage, at least you can say you did it, I guess. So anyway, that's it. We'll see you guys in the next video. I promise it'll be a little more cheery, and have yourselves a good day.